Set2 this season. He just recently joined for round 3, and so far he has not delivered. He, like most Terrans, has a 0-0 Terran versus Terran record.
Yeah, we just don't get many Terrans here. I feel like KT Rolster actually, just with Flash and TY, those are the Terrans we see most of the time, as well as Maru for generic Green Wings. But besides that, not too many Terrans coming out here, and we just don't see too many TVTs. aLive, he's got the black rim glasses, the black hair, looking pretty good over there. And he's going to be up against Reality. Reality has played 2 TVTs, and he's lost both of them. That is something to keep in mind. Maybe not his strongest matchup here. I feel like for him, definitely better in the TVZ matchup.
Yeah. His mech is really good there. I feel like that should kind of translate a little bit into Terran versus Terran, but so far we haven't seen him win those matches just yet. But he was up against really strong opponents, if I recall, so no shame in losing there. The map is merry-go-round, so I feel like in TVT on merry-go-round, I think we saw this once. It was Flash versus Maru, I think. That's the only game I can think of that happened on this map. But as it is, we're going into Game 2. MVP versus Samsung. aLive versus the favorite here, Reality.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Down here in the south, in the blue for MVP, the Terran player, it is aLive.
And up to the top left for Samsung, the favorite here, it's Reality. And his ID brings us back to Reality versus Soki.
Yeah, that's definitely his most memorable game.
Yeah, definitely, I think, without a doubt, what people remember him most for. Well, this map has produced a lot of late game and other matchups. In this matchup, we saw kind of a short game between Flash and Maru. I feel like Maru won that, but I'm drawing a blank really. It was a long time ago. But it was a game where he got ahead early with a nice Hellion defense, and then that picture is coming up everywhere.
What is that?
This little emoticon thing, I've only seen it once, like posted on Twitter. Some Korean girls were posting with it. It's like shrugging, and it just says "no dapida." Like I don't know, I don't know. Like he's just this character that I guess is getting popular. Maybe he's a Kakao Talk emoticon. Not sure.
I don't know. It reminds me of the video you showed me earlier. The snow globe guy from Jack in the Box.
Yeah,
looks a little bit like him.
Yeah. We were talking about this like Code S actually. Tasis and I were talking about it. We don't actually know what Jack in the Box tastes like because we've never eaten there before. Have you ever been there?
No, I'm not even sure if they have that in New York. I don't even remember seeing it. I've heard of it, but I've never been there.
Okay. Well,
is it like a fast
it's like a
food?
McDonald's.
Is it like a McDonald's? Okay.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. I think it's only in like the southeast. I mean southwest. I'm not really sure though. Never been there before.
Could be in LA. I have a lot of friends from LA. They like to talk about some like weird fast food that I've never had before, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. Never had it though, and they're always just like, oh, it's so good, you gotta try it. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, next time I go to California, like I'll try it, but.
It was an In-N-Out burger. I'm like, yeah, I never did that.
Yeah, that's the one, In-N-Out. I'm like, okay, like I get it. It's like Five Guys. They have that in New York. I feel like that's actually national, at least in the U.S. I'm not exactly sure.
It's definitely in Atlanta. I've been there.
Yeah, maybe an Eastern thing, maybe a national thing, but
I thought it was like a local thing the first time it opened. I was like, oh my god, Five Guys, this is cool. But
yeah.
Well, this SCV. Well, you can't see that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, nothing much has changed here. It's gas first for Reality versus a regular gas timing for aLive. But what were you going to say? Sorry.
I was just going to say people like to rave about their fast food and their sports teams.
Yeah, these things do happen.
Yeah.
And let's see what builds these guys are looking to do here. Looks like a reactor being dropped down here, and might even try to... Well, he hasn't started a tech lab yet. He has double gas. I'm feeling like Banshees would be the normal choice, but okay, goes into a Widow Mine, so he's going to be doing a Widow Mine Marine drop probably.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Make one medevac out of that starport. Don't put it on any add-ons and just go for that drop.
And we're going to see Cloak Banshees out of reality. So when these two builds collide, actually, as long as the player who has the Banshees is good at microing at home, they're usually okay against the Widow Mine drop. Then the Banshee becomes a problem because there's no Viking at home and they don't have turrets up, because usually you can't afford to get turrets up super quick with this build. Now, if he does get an eBay up and get those turrets ready, I'll be really impressed. And it means he's definitely considered this possibility when in his build, and he's ready for it.
Yeah. aLive now sending a second SCV over here. Wants to see if there's a CC dropping down. He did see the factory before, and I feel like if maybe he feels like if he sees the CC, nothing too tech heavy is going to be coming his way, but he's got to be ready for these Banshees coming across. The drop of his did just take off and is going to be on the way. There he goes, does see the Banshee with that SCV, so he knows those are on the way. Starts a Raven right away.
Yep, Raven's going up for both players right now. Most likely means we're going to have a mech transition out of both of them, but not necessarily the case. And a tech lab for Siege Tanks has started back at home, so you might actually do like a Siege Tank Raven Banshee push across the map. We've seen that a lot on smaller maps, but it can still work on a big map like this. Marines, are they in position? Yes, they are, and oh my god, that Widow Mine gets targeted now without doing anything.
Yeah, absolutely no damage done here. More damage done to aLive with that drop, and already this Cloak Banshee is starting to get some damage done. Delays the CC, going to start coming in here and picking at these Marines, going to start the micro now.
Yeah, the thing is, the detection is not enough, actually, against a Banshee with good micro.
The stim is going to be so late. Yeah. There's no tech lab on that barracks.
Yeah, I mean, a Banshee can actually fight unstimmed Marines for basically forever. There's like a micro map for this made by Blizzard, like the Masters Challenge. If you haven't played that in the client, try it. This drop does basically nothing yet again. And I'm starting to really worry here for aLive. Okay, that auto turret ends up being enough.
Yeah. Had a Viking on the way as well. So when the Cloak Energy was gone, should have been able to clean it up, but still, going to be able to clean that up one way or another.
Yeah, now a few Siege Tanks coming out here, and that's going to be the follow-up here, that Siege Tank Banshee push I was talking about. I think that's what we're going to see. Raven comes down too. When he has a CC with this, but it doesn't mean he can't move across the map and be aggressive with the tech advantage he has. Plus, he knows he killed a bunch of Marines themselves with that Banshee, which means less defending units at home.
Yeah, this push is actually going to be really strong. It's going to take a while to get over there. This isn't like a super small map, but still, like you mentioned, no bunker right now for aLive, and I'm not even sure if he knows this push is coming right away. Okay, there he does. He drops that bunker. Yeah,
but bunker's not always enough for this, especially because Siege Tanks, even in tank mode, can outrange the bunker. So he's going to need to be, the bunker's going to buy him time, but he needs to be ready for everything else. Now, picking off this Banshee would really hurt the push. And is he going to get out of range? Yes, he does get out of range. This tank is in tank mode here, just fighting, trying to burst down, plus those auto turrets. Now, if he can stop that bunker from getting up, that is huge. Bunker does get up, but there's no repair here, and it gets bursted down in seconds. Now those auto turrets actually zoning out the Vikings a little bit, funny as it is. And SCVs are starting to fall to them as well. And now a great position here for reality. There's no counterattack pressure. There's no drop over there to try to hurt him for this.
Yeah, aLive is in a bad spot now. He's going to be okay with the Siege Tank on the high ground, snipe down these auto turrets first, but reality's going to be able to, just keep him in the base right now. He's going to be able to just stay down here at the bottom of the ramp. He has the extra tank here right now. More on the way as well.
Bait on that Viking. The Marines helping out there. Let's pick that off. Okay, now he's going for that counter drop I was talking about. This is really important because if he gets this off, that could be huge. He's going to drop an auto turret over here, it looks like. Multiple auto turrets, in fact, and that's going to force a reaction. Turret gets dropped here now, knowing that possibly we're going to see some drops coming in as a counterattack too. And he's just got a good position here where it's hard to actually break down this ramp. Scan is placed because he knows that flying buildings can give some extra vision.
Yeah. See now, Reality did kill a bunch of those SCVs at that base, and they haven't been mining for a while now, and he hasn't been able to drop that CC, so Reality is slowly getting more and more SCVs, getting the higher army count as well. You were saying this drop has to do damage. He cannot lose that. just barely does not lose that. And actually, this drop is going to start doing a bit of damage. There's nothing back here for Reality to defend.
Yeah, he didn't pull his SCVs either, so that did do a bit of damage. But he loses the dropship, which means now he has to just trade these Marines as best as possible. He's just targeting down a lot of SCVs over here. He's actually going to try to break this. The tanks were sieged up, obviously, first for Reality. Now he's actually going to burst down a siege tank himself. But still, I think this siege up isn't going to last much longer. But aLive has lost too much, and more than anything that he's lost concrete, he's lost mining time. Yeah. Speaking of losing things,
13 kills on this Banshee, going up to 14, gonna get a 15th and may go down here. Gets a 16th even. That's where you see the 16 now SCVs of aLive. That's where they all went, and now we're seeing damage being done to both players, but Reality having the 2 bases for a lot longer time.
Something else
he's definitely in a big position here.
To keep in mind is that Command Center being lifted means that, yes, he gets vision, but he can't keep constantly producing SCVs. If a Command Center is landed in your main, instead of being at your natural, it's really terrible that you're not mining from your natural, but at least you can still make SCVs and drop mules. Something that aLive was able to do neither of with that Command Center up in the sky. So that's really hurt him quite a bit, I would say. And oh no, this drop is found. And the thing is, he's not going to kill it, but just stopping it from happening itself is pretty painful. Yep. Knowing it's there, he even loses the watchtower here. Things are spiraling out of control pretty fast.
Yeah. Marine going to go down now, and here's the follow-up push. Not too many units in this, but still more than what aLive has at the moment. He has a nice drop defense over there and Banshee defense, has that Raven as well as those 2 Vikings, but Reality has to be careful here. He cannot fly into those Vikings.
Okay, he sees them. He actually might just boost past them and ignore them, because that's a lot of Marines here to drop out, and he runs the medevacs out of the Viking range. One of them does go down, but this position here is solid now. Auto turret here, going to actually tank a lot of shots. And, you know, this didn't really work out the way he wanted it to. This actually hurts him a lot. I have to say, I'm a bit surprised he decided to go for that. At least puts his tank in tank mode, takes out one of the Vikings with him.
Yeah. That kind of thing, I'm just like, I don't feel like it was really necessary. I feel like if he just played standard and just didn't try to go for this big drop and try to do a lot of damage with it, like, I feel like it's okay. It's not going to hurt him too much because he's so far ahead. But still, I feel like he didn't have to do it.
Yeah, I agree completely. Now, upgrade-wise, I'm going to read these out to you guys. We've had +1 for Reality for a long time. And now he's about to have the armor upgrade. So even though +1 is almost done for aLive, he's still going to be a whole upgrade set down.
Yeah, you guys see on screen the effect of that upgrade being up there for Reality and not for aLive. Marine does win 1-on-1.
Now, siege tank count as well is actually, no, it's in aLive's favor right now. He has 5 to 4, and the Marine counts are relatively similar. I feel like the big story here is just the economy and the lead in SCVs, and he's now taking a 3rd base. So that's where the supply comes in here, because the armies are pretty similarly sized, and if he continues to make poor decisions with these drops and moving forward into aLive's army, that could allow aLive to climb back into this game, killing that army, taking control, taking economic leads by catching up in those SCVs, which has SCV production has actually stopped completely for both players for right now.
Another drop for aLive is going to go up to the top side of Reality's base. Got to keep an eye on that. But Reality right at the moment, he is keeping the main bulk of his army at the front of aLive's base. This Viking on patrol isn't in the right position here, but the turrets here are going to deny that drop. And he's just going to be able to drop down that Viking. Will he actually lose it? He does. Marines way too strong.
Marines doing a little bit of work over here. But killing that Viking is like, I mean, it's so insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, it's economic. It's like, wow, a Marine killed a Viking. That's crazy. But I don't know. Like, otherwise, he still can't get in there. He didn't get any damage done. It looks like he's going to deny this 3rd base. No, he's not going to deny it. It already finished. It's dropping mules over there right now. He just shot a completed command center. Saw that flashing on my mini-map over here on my preview screen, and I was like, oh, is he going to kill that? No. Not getting that advantage either. So now it's 3 base against 2. And a few of these units actually caught off guard, although not chased properly. He's just going to let them go, it looks like.
Yeah. Reality, knowing he's ahead in the economy, he knows he can take an extra engineering bay. He's going to go double upgrades as well as the armory upgrades right now for the vehicles. So he's going to get way ahead in that. As long as he can defend, I feel, for a while against these drops, he should be getting a major lead here. We're going to see a drop go down at third base. aLive as well, moving out the bulk of his army towards that third base. Maybe want to set up here. Has to be careful. Almost snipes that medevac.
Yeah, that was a really scary moment there. And now he sees the rest of the army, and that puts him a little bit out of position. He needs to reposition himself. Great siege there on the low ground. Amazing siege. And aLive was not ready for that, losing a few of those Marines hit points and losing the siege tank as well. Trying to drop on these siege tanks. Oh, that was sexy. Picks off that one tank. Like to see moves like that. He's definitely been really good on his micromanagement this game.
Yeah, drops out one Marine to snipe the weakened tank. Very, very cool here. Now he's going to unsiege and push forward. Has to be careful. Reality taking advantage of this. Going to push forward with his Marines. Decent split here, and he has a bunch of tanks in the back to support. He's going to roll over that army.
The upgrades plus the siege tanks on the low ground really, really sealing the deal for him here. I feel like there's almost no way he can lose this game at this point since he still has that third base up and mining. So going to continue to engage here, pick off these units, and I mean, he's attacking into a choke over into a concave here, but he has the siege tanks at the back to support this. Thing is, aLive has been playing the micro this game so much better, but look at this, just it's costing him too much to do this. It's like he's looking at this, he's like, wow, you screwed that up. Maybe I can kill you, but no, you just still don't have enough aLive. It's just not quite there. You're microing much better, it's true.
Yeah.
But
upgrades here finish for the Marines. So it's going to be 2-2 versus 1-1. He's also going to get the +1 to his tanks and Vikings on the way here as well. Scan goes into the main base, and he's going to try to go for a drop here. There is no defense. Those units totally out of position. There's one tank here to defend for aLive, and that's going to go down right away.
The drop of doom here, and now with all the tanks already sieged up here for Reality, it's never going to be a good trade for aLive. Yeah, he brings a lot of SCVs over here. They're like attacking a depot for some reason. I'm not sure what's up with that. That was the big first control mistake we saw from aLive, but there it is, GG. Reality being too far ahead for too long. Making some poor control mistakes, but his macro was really what he relied on. You can see this is why, in my opinion, when we see this guy play TVZ, he goes for mech because his micro and his splitting with his Marines and his control and sometimes his decision making on which units eat what sometimes can be a little bit off. And I feel like, you know, when you play TVZ mech as good as he is, he's just so focused on his macro and building this bulk of his army and winning, you know, through this blunt, headstrong force rather than playing for like micro and control like we saw aLive try to do.
Kind of does what Youngwa does with PvP, or rather with Protoss, but just a little bit better, a little bit more successful with it with the turn. And I like it. He plays to his strengths, and he takes a game there over aLive. He's going to put Samsung now 2-0 over MVP. And I don't know, MVP not looking so good this round at all. Samsung definitely looking a lot better in this game.
Yeah, now Dream versus Solar could be our last match of the night, and I think a lot of people would favor Solar here. I favor Dream because of the map, and I think I don't know, Dream is a really young guy. He doesn't seem to get nervous too often.